Hi, it has been a while since my last video, so I decided to give you a quick update on some of the upgrades for the Cicada Hexapod and tell you about what's coming next on the channel. Also, I will show you some other projects that I've been working on in the past few months. The first upgrade that I want to talk about is the switch to the metal servo horns. The holes on these horns are threaded for M3 screws, and they solve one of the most common issues with the plastic horns, where the plastic was getting worn and the screws were coming off over time. You can buy 20 of these for less than 10 bucks with shipping, and they have a lot of added value, so I highly recommend them. And I'm going to strictly use these going forward. I also designed a new cocksaw and a new femur to be used with the new horns, which you can get from the GitHub page. The new parts are much more durable, and I think they even look nicer. Also, with these new parts, now the entire hexapod can be printed without supports. Other than these parts, some of the members of the Discord server have designed their own compatible parts. So if you decide to start the print, make sure to check all the available options to pick the one that works the best for you. One other change that I want to mention is the modified servo back part. If you are having a lot of rubbing noise on the joints, make sure to use the version with the internal ring. This ring limits the amount of friction and completely eliminates the plastic rubbing noise. Now on to the exciting stuff. Since I released the instructions to build a hexapod, one of the frequent questions asked was if you can use a different servo controller other than the ones from Pololu. So I listened, and based on the discussions in the Discord server, we picked the PhoneDrone Servo 2040 servo controller as the next supported board. This board has so many advantages over the Pololu boards and will help simplify the build by eliminating the need for extra components. It is also cheaper, and because it is based on Raspberry Pi Pico, it is open source and we can do low-level optimizations in the future if we want to. We are still working on finalizing the firmware, and hopefully in the next video I will be able to give you detailed instructions on how to use it for the hexapod build. Other than the Pololu and the PhoneDrone boards, I also want to add support for a third board in the future, and the reason for that is my old hexapod. This is my older hexapod, which runs on a Raspberry Pi Zero and uses a Lynx Motion SSC32U as a servo controller. Currently the code on this one is pretty old, and some of the servos are damaged and don't function right. But I really want to bring it back to life. And the plan is to port the Cicada code back to Raspberry Pi and use the Lynx Motion board to drive the servos. On this hexapod, I'm using RC shocks instead of the touch sensors, which gives some passive load balancing on uneven surfaces. The last thing that I want to share is my PhoneDrone project. Recently, I've been thinking even though controlling a hexapod with a smartphone is cool, but why stop there? Smartphones have a lot of components that are widely getting used in drones, such as the IMUs, GPS, wireless connection, cameras, long-range cell connectivity, and a powerful processor that can be used for all kinds of navigation and image processing tasks. So I bought a cheap drone frame and started the coding. This was my first experience with anything drone related, and so far the ESC control code is complete and works perfectly. But after a few painful accidents, I realized that even though the quadcopter control algorithm seems straightforward on paper, it is not trivial at all. So I decided to put a pause on the project and use an open source codebase instead of reinventing the wheel. I am pretty excited about this project and see a huge potential for it. And my plan is to release the app once it's complete, as I did with the Cicada apps. So if you have experience with a quadcopter flight control codebase or have any suggestions, make sure to reach out to me in the comments below or on the Discord server. That's all for today. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.